Embracing Differences, Uplifting LGBTQIA plus Black and People of Color Disability Communities. Thursday, October 12th, 2023, Hofstra University, Hempstead, New York. IMM23 speakers. India Harville, founder, Embraced Body. Mark Travis Rivera, professional storyteller and disabled choreographer. Advertisement. Since the days of Stonewall, we have been transforming lives in LGBTQ plus communities through excellent comprehensive care, provided free of judgment and regardless of ability to pay. We're looking for passionate, mission-driven people to join our growing team. We offer our employees exceptional medical, dental, and vision plans, along with generous paid time off. We're hiring social workers, LMSW, LCSW, medical providers, MD, NP, Pennsylvania, nurses, LPN, RN, medical assistants, case managers, and more. Learn more and apply at callan-lord.org/careers advertisement, HIV and gender. Affirming care experts, $0. Monthly premium Medicaid specialty health insurance, health. Advocacy, care, learn more. Learn more, www.amitacarney.org, vertical bar 1, 855, go Amita, 1-855-462-6432, TTY 711. Amita Care complies with federal civil rights laws. Amita Care does not exclude people or treat them differently because of race, color, national origin, age, disability, or sex. Atención. Si habla español, tiene a su disposición servicios gratuitos de asistencia lingüística. Llame al 1-800-556-0689, TTY 711, 1-800-556-0689, TTY 711. Welcome. October 12th, 2023. Community members. On this, our 9th annual In My Mind, LGBTQ plus People of Color Mental Health Conference, with a focus on LGBTQ plus disabled communities, we, the planning team, extend a hearty welcome. With our title, Embracing Differences, and the theme, Uplifting LGBTQIA plus Black and Peoples of Color Disability Communities, we're focused this year on LGBTQIA plus Black and Peoples of Color Disability Communities and their mental health. Our planning team, who gathered online since last December, meeting every 2 weeks, share their thoughts about what planning this conference means. As a long-standing member of the Conference Planning Committee, I am most proud of the ongoing work we have done to address mental health within the LGBTQIA plus Peoples of Color communities. This year's conference is focusing on unpacking the multi-layered intersectional approach of embracing differences by uplifting those in the community who are disabled. The evolution of the space we have created and the topics we are addressing, in most cases, are the first time these conversations are happening, and I am honored to be part of those groundbreaking and impactful moments. Lisette Marrero, MSW, Director of Operations, Voces Latinas, Queens, New York, social worker. I can bring community and information to my students and provide them with an engaging experience. And I think that we can also share in partnership with the resources and knowledge we have at Hofstra to really help contribute to this being a successful event. Andrea Nerlich, PhD, Director, Rehabilitation Counseling Programs, Hofstra University. This conference is just really important for all the students here to kind of get a different perspective on working with potential clients and talking about how all these different areas of life kind of intersect, how they all relate to the bigger picture, to what people have going on, and hopefully people can come and learn and get something out of it, including being more experienced, understanding of different cultures and different people's possessions, and more out of their individual clients for their internships or their jobs. Brandon Gilmore, President, Chi Sigma Iota, Honor Society for Counseling Students in the Hofstra University's graduate programs. Since we've joined together with this conference, and as I've talked to different people about it within the university and outside of the university, I think it's going to be an amazing event. And I'm so honored that we're getting the opportunity to join with a conference that's been running for 9 years as an opportunity to further educate the community and broaden the community's understanding about the BIPOC community in combination with LGBTQ plus communities, understanding the role mental health and disability plays, and how all of those pieces come together for an individual's life. The opportunity to participate in the conference and to hear the stories through the workshops can be very meaningful and hopefully promote change in mindset. I love participating in experiences like this, where you can see a change of mindset, attitude, and behavior. Jamie Midas, Ph.D., Associate Professor, Certified Rehabilitation Counselor, and Licensed Mental Health Counselor in New York State and Illinois, and Rehabilitation Psychologist, Hofstra University. It is so important to me to ensure that marginalized communities have quality access to mental health services. My role as a regional representative from Helen Keller National Center is to ensure that individuals with combined vision and hearing loss have access to the materials, and my presentation is geared to build mental health services capacity for the deafblind community. Eleanor Coley-Brody, MSW, LCSW, Regional Representative, Helen Keller, National Center. Welcome. Conference Planning Team, 2023. In my mind, Nassau County Department of Health Office of Health Equity, September 29, 2023. At the Office of Health Equity, we firmly believe in the power of inclusion, diversity, and compassion. This conference serves as a platform to amplify voices, share knowledge, and foster collaboration to advance health equity for all. Together, we can break down barriers, challenge stereotypes, and create a more just and inclusive healthcare landscape. We encourage you to engage actively in the discussions, learn from one another, and leave the conference inspired and motivated to make a positive impact in your communities. Let's work together to ensure that everyone, regardless of their background, identity, or ability, can lead a healthy and fulfilling life. Sincerely, Carolyn V. McCummings, MPH, Ph.D., Director of the Office of Health Equity EEO Officer, 200 County Seat Drive, Mineola, New York, 11501 phone, 516-227-9500 fax, 516-227-9696 October 2023. Dear conference attendees, Hofstra University has a long history of fostering inclusivity and providing welcoming and accessible spaces. The School of Health Professions and Human Services, HPHS, at Hofstra has a strong dedication to promoting disability justice and establishing a culture of belonging for the disability community. Thus, HPHS and Hofstra are natural co-hosts for this conference. It is critical to recognize and address the intersecting needs between ethnic minority status and LGBTQIA+ membership within the disability community. I wholeheartedly appreciate the conference's emphasis on embracing diversity and empowering all individuals within society. Sincerely, Reginald J. Alston, Ph.D., Dean and Professor, School of Health Professions and Human Services, Hofstra University. About the conference space. The university provided us with access to the Sandra and David Mack Student Center, outside the multipurpose room, registration check-in, the multipurpose room, part exhibition tabling, part food, breakfast and lunch, student center bathroom facilities are gender inclusive, the SC Theater, the student lounge, classrooms 141 to 145, room 145 designated a quiet room, Plaza West. Identification. All conference attendees are required to wear their conference badge, which will contain their name, preferred pronoun, and conference statuses, such as attendee, exhibitor, presenter, speaker, volunteer, or planning team member. Photography. We would like to capture in photography and video formats significant moments at the conference. As attendees, you're invited to take photos and videotape only in the main general sessions. Knowing we're in the digital age of instant photos, there are 2 items to consider. 1. While the conference organizers and the conference space encourage attendees to take photographs, everyone at the conference may not be comfortable or want their photos taken. If a person wishes to take a photograph and there are others in the picture, please ask those other people for permission to take their photograph or ask them to step out of the way. In the event, a person wants to take a photograph of a workshop in a breakout room or a general session in the community room, all crowd group photographs must be taken from the /behind, where no one's face is visible, except for the presenter S, at the front of the room. 2. Presenters and speakers are aware that by accepting to present and/or speak at the conference, that they consent to photographs being taken, and which can or will be used for publicity/marketing/promotional purposes by the conference and Hofstra University. Security, as a conference attendee, you are not a security officer. Do not assume you know what to do. You are encouraged to be always aware of your surroundings. In the event of a security issue or threat, quietly and without fuss, alert a member of the university's security immediately. If someone is being aggressive, behaving in a threatening manner, using offensive language, do not engage. Step back and notify a volunteer or one of the conference organizers. Do not touch the aggressor. Do not shout, raise your voice, or in any way antagonize the person. If you see, hear, and smell anything that is unsafe or hazardous, inform a volunteer or conference organizer immediately. If you see any inappropriate behavior, inform a volunteer or one of the conference organizers immediately. Your surroundings, we ask you to assist us with keeping the conference space clean. If you see trash on the floor or there is a liquid spill, please bring it to the attention of a volunteer or conference organizer immediately, who will notify the university's janitorial services. Please pay attention to your surroundings. If you see anything on the floor, pick it up. If you see a spill, if there is a problem in any of the bathrooms, inform a volunteer or a conference organizer who will notify the college's janitorial services. Interaction with other conference attendees. If you should encounter, witness, or be involved in a disagreement with another conference attendee, to keep the spirit of the conference, you are asked to take the higher road and work to de-escalate the situation. In the event your efforts don't seem to be working, please contact a volunteer or a conference organizer. Remember that many in our community may have experienced verbal, emotional, or physical assault because of their sexual orientation or gender expression at various times in their lives, and this may have caused many to be extremely angry, defensive, or combative. Trauma for many may have occurred in schools, from family, at work, on city streets, from their governments, and from the LGBTQ+ community. This conference should be viewed as a safe place where a person does not need to worry about discrimination or even verbal or physical assault from anyone, conference organizers, speakers, presenters, volunteers, or participants. Meeting etiquette. These are some general courtesy rules for virtual and in-person meetings. For our in-person attendees' health and safety, and recognizing COVID-19 variants strains rising in our communities, we will maintain physical distancing measures and insist on protective masks covering one's mouth and nostrils in all rooms, corridors, and spaces where community members gather throughout the conference, with exceptions for eating or drinking. Respect other participants and the presenter, even if you disagree with something they say. The conference's general sessions will be recorded. The breakout sessions will not be recorded. Please do not record in the breakout sessions, and do not take photographs or screenshots. Mute your mic when you join the video call, and only unmute if you are invited by the presenter to do so. Share your comments or questions in the chat box. Toward the end of breakout sessions, in the 15 minutes for Q&A, an evaluation link will be shared with you in the chat box for you to complete and submit. Even though it's tempting, try not to multitask too much. And if you're going to, at least mute your mic. You don't have to be overly prepared for a meeting you're not hosting, but try to be on time, glancing at the conference program so you know where we are. Continuing Education Units Credit, CE. Conference participants who are eligible can receive up to one hour of continuing education. Units credit CEs for full attendance at any of the qualifying presentations marked CE. Requiring CEs, you will need to provide the following information: full name, email address to send evaluation and certificate. Sending evaluation to participant is required. Certificate will be awarded when evaluation completed and returned. Degree type, for example, LCSW or LMSW. New York State license number, date of the presentation, title of the presentation, name of the presenter. Please send this information in an email to info@dbgm.org as soon after the conference ends. Your email will be forwarded to Callan Lord, who will evaluate your responses and issue the certificate of completion, providing the CE. Conference schedule: 7 a.m. setup. Planning team and tech check-in. Registration in Lobby 8. AM breakfast exhibitor. Set up in multi-purpose room. 9 a.m. call to order by planning team member in the SC Theater. 9:05 a.m. Indigenous Two-Spirit Invocation. Jason Hansana Cofield, Shinnecock Indian Nation, in the SC Theater. 9:10 a.m. Pronouns, welcome, introductions, acknowledgements, volunteers, and AMP, housekeeping planning team member in the SC. Theater, 9:15 a.m. We remember our own memorial. Community members lost to homicide, suicide, and other means in the SC. Theater, 9:20 a.m. Welcome, Nassau County and AMP Hofstra University in the SC Theater. Dr. Carolyn McCummings, Director of Health Equity, Nassau County Department of Health. Reginald Alston, Ph.D., Dean and Professor, School of Health Professions and Human Services. Hofstra University, 9:30 a.m. Thriving at the intersections of BIPOC plus LGBTQ plus disability. Mark Travis Rivera in the SC Theater. 10:15 a.m. Wellness Break and AMP. Travel Time Exhibition Student Center / Multipurpose Room. 10:25 a.m. to 11:40 a.m. Breakout Session 1. Various Rooms B1A, CE. Access to mental health services for individuals with combined vision and hearing loss. Presented by Eleanor Coley Brody, MSW, LCSW, Helen Keller, in the SC Theater, B1B. Healing Together, Parental PTSD and Family Resilience. Presented by Janique J. Cofield and Jason Hansana Cofield, Shinnecock Indian Nation, in Room 143 B1C. Disability Ally Initiative Reconfiguring Communities for LGBTQIA+ and POC, presented by Eveles Sagara, PCCS, in Room 142 B1D, CE. The Evolving Yoga Chair Practice, presented by Leonardo Cruz, Ph.D., in Room 141 B1E, CE. The Straw That Breaks, a framework for taking systemic inequities into consideration in disaster psychiatry response with the chronic cyclical disaster model, presented by Lindsay Mixer, Master of Arts, Med, ABD. Hai Wan Yoon, Vibrant Emotional Health, in Plaza West B, 1F. Quiet Room, Silence, Meditation. In Room 145 11:45 a.m. Lunch in the Multipurpose Room. 12:15 p.m. Lunch in AMP. Learn, get what's yours. Free accessible reading materials, talking book players, accessible tech coaching, accessible making, and more from the NLS libraries. Presented by Jill Rothstein and Chancey Fleet, NYPL, Andrew High School Braille and Talking Book Library, in the SC Theater, 12:45 p.m. Call to Order, Afternoon Program. Welcome, introductions, acknowledgements, volunteers, and AMP Housekeeping, Planning Team Member in the SC Theater, 1 p.m. to 1:45 p.m. Embracing All of Us, Making Space for Disabled QT BIPOC in Our Communities, presented by India Harville, Embracing Body, in the SC Theater. 1:45 p.m. The Traumatic Impact of Mental Health Crisis Responses in Communities of Color and in the LGBTQIA+ community, and a Proposal for Transforming the Responses, presented by Ruth Lowenkron, NYLPI, in the SC Theater. 2:15 p.m. NYS OASAs, an Agency Overview, presented by Janeth Jet Quintero and Nirmala Broadman, NYS Oasis, in the SC Theater. 2:30 p.m. to 2:45 p.m. Break and AMP. Travel Time Exhibition in the Student Center / Multipurpose Room. 2:45 p.m. to 4 p.m. Breakout Session, 2B2A-CE. Crafting More Inclusive Spaces. Amplifying Disabled QTBIPOC Wisdom, presented by India Harville, Masters of Arts. Embracing Diversity, in the SC Theater. B2B, Getting Through the Storm, Greeting the Rainbow, presented by Nathan James in Room 143 B2C, Climate, Community, and Care. Exploring Intersectionality. Within Climate Change and Mental Health, presented by Christina Johnson, Masters or Arts, Brightside Bahamas, in Room 142 B2D. Healthy Ass Parenting for a Different Child, presented by Shard O'Rourke, LPC, LMFT, LSATP, CCTP, PAI, SAP, in Room 141 B2. E. Quiet Room, Silence Meditation, in Room 145 B2F, CE, The Little Boy. That She Is Not, Raising a Transgendered Child, in a Trauma-Filled Environment, presented by Rafaelina Teneo in Plaza West. 4 p.m. break and travel time exhibition in the Student Center / multipurpose room, 4:15 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. breakout session 3B3A CE, Redefining Burden, Understanding Informal Caregiver Experiences, presented by Savannah M. D'Aquila, BS in RM, 142B3B, Unlocking the Power of Inclusion, Paving the Way for a Diverse Workforce, presented by Jay Marquez, Dylan Valek, Kelly Fisher, Spectrum Designs, in Plaza West B3C. The S is Silent, presented by Khalil Blue in the SC Theater B3D CE, True Healing, What It Looks Like in Practice, presented by Jose Cotto, LCSW in Room 143B3E CE, Leveling Up, Using Role-Playing Games to Teach Social Skills, presented by Jack Cummings in Room 141B3F, Quiet Room, Silence Meditation in Room 145 5:15 p.m. break and Travel Time exhibition in the Student Center Multipurpose Room, 5:45 p.m. reconvene Vertical Bar Acknowledgements, Volunteers, Planning Team Member in the SC Theater, 5:50 p.m. Indigenous Peoples Closing Invocation, Jason Hansana Cofield, Shinnecock Indian Nation, in the SC Theater, 6 p.m. Program End. Program Native American Ancestral Invocation, presented by Jason Hansana Cofield, Shinnecock Indian Nation. We Remember Our Own, a memorial, remembering, honoring, and celebrating community members who died by homicide, suicide, or from the COVID-19 pandemic between October 2022 and October 2023. Greetings and welcome Nassau County Representative Carolyn McCummings, MPH, PhD, Director of Health Equity, Nassau County Department of Health Hofstra University Representatives. Reginald Alston, Ph.D., Dean and Professor, School of Health Professions and Human Services. Hofstra University Speaker, Thriving at the Intersections of BIPOC plus LGBTQ plus Disability, presented by Mark Travis Rivera. While belonging to multiple marginalized communities may compound our experiences of shame and our sense of belonging, our intersectional experiences also allow us to thrive and not simply survive. It is up to all of us to end the stigma associated with disability and mental health, to create a future where every one of us can thrive and live authentically. Speaker, Embracing All of Us, Making Space for Disabled QT BIPOC. In Our Communities, presented by India Harville, Embraced Body, who shares her experiences and insights on the importance of creating inclusive spaces for disabled queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color QT BIPOC communities. As someone living at multiple intersections of oppression, she will share stories from her own experience to illustrate the importance of creating spaces that allow people to bring all of themselves into the room, including practical strategies for creating more accessible and welcoming spaces for all members of our communities. India will help attendees understand some of the historical roots and causes of ableism to decolonize our bodies and minds, and to help us dismantle and address internalized and systemic ableism. Special presentations. Get What's Yours, free accessible reading materials, talking book players, accessible tech coaching, accessible making, and more from the NLS libraries, presented by Jill Rothstein, Chief Librarian, and Chancey Fleet, Assistive Technology Coordinator, New York Public Library, Andrew High School Braille, and Talking Book Library. Do you have trouble reading standard print? Learn about the free Talking Books program, which provides talking book players, talking books, audio magazines, and more, mailed to your door, downloadable from a computer, or available on an app, along with accessible programming and Braille. If you have declining vision or a disability, are you curious about the ways accessible technology can help you make the most of the world? Find out about the technology our library offers, including free tech coaching to build your skills, helpful apps for reading, traveling, independent living, and fun. The traumatic impact of mental health crisis responses in communities of color and in the LGBTQIA+ community, and a proposal for transforming the responses, presented by Ruth Lowenkron, Director, Disability Justice Program, New York Lawyers for the Public Interest. The presenter will discuss the state of mental health crisis responses in New York and nationally, which are primarily undertaken by police, and will share relevant statistics. One of the presenters will share their lived experiences. The presentation's focus will be on the impact of the current crisis response system in communities of color and, by extension, LGBTQIA+ Black and peoples of color communities. The presenters will also share a proposal for transforming the way municipalities respond to mental health crises, outline the advocacy efforts underway to make the proposal a reality, and suggest ways attendees can support advocacy efforts. OASIS, an agency overview presented by Janeth Jet Quintero and Nirmala Broadman, NYS OASIS. New York State OASIS representatives will provide a brief overview of the agency, its various divisions, along with the services available to the community. Furthermore, presenters will discuss the creation of the Office of Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, known as JEDI. The presenters are members of the JEDI division and can expand on the work that has been done since its inception. An address of the distribution of medication disposal bags and Narcan kits will also be provided. CE=LCSWs and LMSWs can receive credit units hours, CEUs or CRCs, for attending an eligible presentation. Must attend the presentation for the entire 75 minutes. Breakout Session 1, various rooms, 1025 AM B1A, CE, access to mental health services for individuals with combined vision and hearing loss. Presented by Eleanor Coley Brody, MSW, LCSW, Helen Keller National Center. SC Theater. This workshop will educate participants on how they can increase access and build inclusion in their service provisions for deafblind communities. B1B, Healing Together, Parental PTSD and Family Resilience, presented by Janique J. Cofield and Jason Hansana Cofield, Shinnecock Indian Nation, Room 143. In this presentation, a Shinnecock Indian Nation father and his two-spirit daughter will share their experiences using speech and storytelling. The daughter describes growing up with a father, a U.S. military veteran, who struggles with PTSD. Although this presentation will be led by the daughter, the father will assist with providing context and support, including his own storytelling, and it will contain PTSD definitions, how it manifests in First Peoples who are and living with a veteran, and will be accompanied by images and short video clips. The daughter will also describe experiences living as an LGBTQIA+ Black and First Nation person in these communities. B1C Disability Ally Initiative, Reconfiguring Communities for LGBTQIA+ and POC, presented by Evelyn Sagara, PCCS, Room 142. Disability Ally Initiative is a customizable, interactive workshop training provided to businesses, schools, and community-based organizations to learn inclusion and integration methods for LGBTQIA+ Black and people of color disability communities. Through open 4A information sessions, videos, and interactive exercises, participants learn accessibility, communication, and respectful techniques on being an ally. B1D, CE, the Evolving Yoga Chair Practice, presented by Leonardo Cruz, PhD, Room 141. This workshop will begin with the Evolving Yoga Chair Practice, which will consist of a seated mindfulness meditation that leads to seated yoga postures and leads to a mindfulness writing exercise to inspire participants to creatively explore through storytelling, sharing their stories in a performative journal. At the end of this workshop, participants will have learned storytelling through expressive arts, animist approach to mindfulness meditation, and yoga. B1E, CE. The Straw That Breaks. A framework for taking systemic inequities into consideration in disaster psychiatry response with the chronic cyclical disaster model, presented by Lindsay Mixer, Massachusetts, Med, ABD, Hai-Wan Yoon, Vibrant Emotional Health, Plaza West. When it comes to disaster response, the effects systemic injustice and inequity have on a community is rarely taken into consideration, especially for disabled communities, who are often made silent and invisible. The chronic cyclical disaster model provides a framework to conceptualize a community's place in a disaster response matrix focused on emotional health resource allocation, addressing inequities head-on so that when disasters occur, there can be community-built resources to increase resilience and growth. B1F. Quiet Room. Silence, Meditation. Room 145. 11:45 a.m. Lunch. multi-purpose room. 12:15 p.m. lunch, and learn. Get what's yours. Free accessible reading materials, talking book players, accessible tech coaching, accessible making, and more from the NLS libraries, presented by Jill Rothstein, Chancey Fleet, NYPL, Andrew High School Braille, and Talking Book Library in the SC Theater. Do you have trouble reading standard print? Learn about the free Talking Books program, which provides talking book players, talking books, audio magazines, and more, and can be mailed to your door, are downloadable from a computer or available on an app, along with accessible programming and Braille. If you have declining vision or a disability, are you curious about all the ways accessible technology can help you make the most of the world? Find out about the technology that our library offers, build your skills with free tech coaching, and helpful apps for reading, traveling, independent living, and fun. 12:45 p.m. call to order, afternoon program. Welcome, introductions, acknowledgments, volunteers, and housekeeping presented by planning team member in the SC Theater. 1 p.m. Embracing all of us. Making space for disabled QTBIPOC. In our communities, presented by India Harville, Embracing Disability, in the SC Theater. India Harville, she/her, shares her experiences and insights on the importance of creating inclusive spaces for disabled queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color QTBIPOC communities. As someone living at multiple intersections of oppression, she will share stories from her own experience to illustrate the importance of creating spaces that allow people to bring all of themselves into the room, including practical strategies for creating more accessible and welcoming spaces for all members of our communities. India will help attendees understand some of the historical roots and causes of ableism to decolonize our bodies and minds, and to help us dismantle and address internalized and systemic ableism. 1:45 p.m. The traumatic impact of mental health crisis responses. In communities of color and in the LGBTQIA+ community, and a proposal for transforming the responses, presented by Ruth Lowenkron, NYLPI, in the SC Theater. The presenters will discuss the state of mental health crisis responses in New York and nationally, which are primarily undertaken by police, and will share relevant statistics. One of the presenters will share their lived experiences. The presentation's focus will be on the impact of the current crisis response system in communities of color and, by extension, LGBTQIA+ Black and peoples of color communities. The presenters will also share a proposal for transforming the way municipalities respond to mental health crises, outline the advocacy efforts underway to make the proposal a reality, and suggest ways attendees can support advocacy efforts. 2:15 p.m. NYS OASAS. An agency overview presented by Janeth Jet Quintero and Nirmala Brodman, NYS OASAS, in the SC Theater. New York State OASAS representatives will provide a brief overview of the agency, its various divisions, along with the services available to the community. Furthermore, presenters will discuss the creation of the Office of Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, known as JEDI. The presenters are members of the JEDI division and can expand on the work that has been done since its inception. An address of the distribution of medication disposal bags and Narcan kits will also be provided. 2:45 p.m. breakout session. 2. Various rooms. B2A, CE, Crafting More Inclusive Spaces. Amplifying Disabled QTBIPOC Wisdom, presented by India Harville, Masters of Arts, Embraced Body, in the SC Theater. In this workshop, we will explore the unique experiences and insights of disabled queer, trans, Black, Indigenous people of color, QTBIPOC. Through dialogue, interactive activities, and shared stories, we will examine ways to not only challenge ableism, racism, homophobia, and transphobia. We deepen our analysis of how living at the intersections of multiple systems of oppression compounds the impact of these systems. Discover practical strategies to unpack ableism to increase accessibility and inclusion. B2B, Getting Through the Storm, Greeting the Rainbow, presented by Nathan James. In room 143. My lived experience at the intersection of disability and homosexuality, presents challenges and obstacles that few people who haven't experienced these firsthand can describe in terms that truly do the ordeals justice. In a society that still vilifies LGBTQ people individually and collectively and relegates its physically or emotionally disabled members, gay or straight, to second or even third-tier status in our social hierarchy, dealing with life as a person of color with these adversities can be a daunting, even devastating set of circumstances. B2C Climate, Community, and Care. Exploring Intersectionality. Within Climate Change and Mental Health, presented by Christina Johnson, Masters of Arts, Brightside, Bahamas, in Room 142. As the planet faces unprecedented environmental challenges, marginalized communities, including those identifying as LGBTQIA+, and those with disabilities, often bear a disproportionate burden. Intersectional considerations present unique mental health challenges ranging from eco-anxiety and climate grief to increased vulnerability and discrimination. Recognizing and addressing these intersections is crucial for promoting inclusive responses to effectively support these communities, ensuring equitable access to mental health support and fostering resilience within these communities. B2D Healthy-Ass Parenting for a Different Child, presented by Shard O'Rourke, LPC, LMFT, LSATP, CCTP, PAI, SAP, in Room 141. In the book, Healthy Parenting Tips, 18 Tips to Figuring This Shit Out, I focus on teaching basic parenting skills. This workshop looks at considering cultural factors, gender, and sexuality, and being accepting and communicative when raising Black LGBTQ children. It will challenge attendees to identify their barriers and their ability to be open. B2E Quiet Room, Silence Meditation, in Room 145 B2F, CE. The Little Boy. That She Is Not, Raising a Transgendered Child in a Trauma-Filled Environment, presented by Rafaelina Teneo in Plaza West. This workshop will highlight the personal journey of a young Dominican mother single-handedly raising a family after escaping an abusive relationship and attempting to come to terms with a gender non-conforming child in the home. It is a story of resilience and understanding, navigating a complex, trauma-filled world of preconceived notions and perceptions of a reconfigured identity. 4:15 p.m. Breakout Session 3, Various Rooms, B3A, CE, Redefining Burden. Understanding Informal Caregiver Experiences, presented by Savannah M. D'Aquila, BS, in Room 142, discussing informal caregiver experiences, overall health, and perceived burden with regards to demographic factors that have been previously observed to moderate caregiver outcomes and experiences globally, which include factors such as race, gender, and financial mobility. B3B Unlocking the Power of Inclusion. Paving the Way for a Diverse Workforce, presented by Jay Marquez and Dylan Valek, Spectrum Designs, in Plaza West Spectrum Designs Foundation, is a full-service apparel customization shop with the mission to create meaningful and inclusive employment opportunities. With over 74 employees, 60% disclosed some form of different ability. Our unique model proved successful. Our team members share about the importance of small accommodations in the workplace, which lead to exceptional career progression and help to foster an environment where people of all abilities can thrive. B3C. The S is Silent, presented by Khalil Blue in the SC Theater. Join us for a suicide prevention workshop that is focused on supporting LGBTQIA plus Black and people of color communities. This workshop will explore the intersections of identity and mental health, employ art, interactive discussions, and a comprehensive PowerPoint presentation. In it, the presenter will raise and discuss the detrimental effects of shame, silence, and stigma, and to foster a brave space for understanding and skills building. Together, let's break down barriers and create better conditions for care. B3D CE. True Healing. What it looks like in practice, presented by Jose Cotto, LCSW, in Room 143. Healing looks differently. It requires looking at aspects of one's identity and how that person created their story. This knowledge, combined with culturally aware evidence-based practices, addresses mental illness, produces meaningful outcomes, and provides better healing for LGBTQIA+ folks and people of color. healing that can lead to growth in areas of a person's life. B3E CE, Leveling Up, Using Role-Playing Games to Teach Social Skills, presented by Jack Cummings in Room 141. With 13 years' experience using games to teach leadership skills to queer youth, they share what they've learned about the growing research showing how role-playing games are uniquely suited to address the social, emotional, and physical needs faced by many disabled LGBTQ+ peoples of color. B3F, Quiet Room, Silence Meditation in Room 1, 5:30 p.m. break and travel time exhibition in the multi-purpose room, Indigenous Peoples Closing Invocation, presented by Jason Hansana Cofield, Shinnecock Indian Nation, in the SC Theater End, 6 p.m. NY State LGBT Network Community Survey. 2021. Respondents with Disabilities. Respondents reported the following levels of disabilities: sensory, blindness, deafness, 3% cognitive or developmental, 6% physical, 15%. Multiple disabilities, 6%. No disability, 70%. Of the 640 respondents who reported disabilities, Figure 39 shows that almost half reported physical disabilities. Table 27 shows the distribution of disabilities by age. Respondents under 36 years of age reported the highest prevalence of disabilities, with the exception of physical disabilities, which were most likely to be reported by older respondents. Almost half of those ages 13-35 reported multiple disabilities. This level of disability contributes to the higher levels of poor plus fair SRH reported by younger respondents. 1. Disabilities and measures of health and life quality. Disabilities track with medical mistrust and intersectional discrimination. While having any disability was moderately associated with an increase in medical mistrust, having cognitive or multiple disabilities increased respondents' discrimination index factor by 100% to 200%. In other words, having cognitive or multiple disabilities was related to reporting 1 to 2 more forms of discrimination, which was shown earlier in the report to be highly associated with the need and access to services. This is similar to the impact of race, mental health, and substance use stigma on the intersectional discrimination index of a respondent, because disability was also one of the types of discrimination measured. 2. How disabilities affect daily life and access to care, service areas. The experience of disabilities was statistically significantly correlated with a lack of access to services for chronic conditions, job-related issues, environmental health issues, family or relationship abuse, reproductive health, and mental health. P is less than 0.001, but not for major health events or substance use services. B. COVID-19 pandemic. Respondents with disabilities were asked how the COVID-19 pandemic affected their access to care. On average, 40% of respondents with disabilities found services more difficult to access during the pandemic, while only 23% reported no change. Speaker biographies. Indigenous Native American Invocation, Jason Hansana Cofield, Executive Director of Tribal Operations, Shinnecock Culture Bearer, Language Bearer, Seed Keeper, Storyteller, Grandfather. Jason Hansana Cofield is an enrolled citizen of the Shinnecock Indian Nation, where he resides. He is a husband and father of 4 and a proud veteran of the United States Air Force. He serves the Shinnecock Nation as Executive Director of Tribal Operations, where he manages and directs the Shinnecock Nation's administrative departments, with 77 employees, programs, and services. Jason plans, coordinates, and manages the daily operations of the tribal departments through department directors and managers, establishes current and long-range goals, objectives, plans, and policies, dispenses advice, guidance, direction, and authorization to carry out major plans, guidelines, and procedures. Meet with department directors and managers to ensure operations are executed in accordance with the nation's policies. Establishes and maintain an effective system of communication throughout the organization. Represent the organization when coordinating with federal, state, and local governments, and oversees and ensures compliance with more than $20M in federal and state grants. Jason has been an active participant in his Shinnecock culture since birth. He has danced throughout Indian country representing his Eastern Woodland Indigenous culture. He is known all over Turtle Island for his beadwork and regalia making, taught to him by his grandmother and Shinnecock elders. Shinnecock elders and elders throughout Indian country have passed on stories and oral history that he now shares with his children, grandchildren, and sister tribes. Jason takes pride in his service to his nation, teaching and passing on culture to the youth in his community through language, plant and medicine identification, planting and harvesting, hunting and gathering, fishing, beading and regalia techniques, drumming and singing, storytelling and oral history. Jason previously worked for the Shinnecock Nation as the coordinator of good health and wellness in Indian country and was the coordinator for the Diabetes Prevention Recognition Program. In 2021, he received the Local Impact Award from the National Indian Health Board for his work during the COVID-19 pandemic. Jason has worked in the fitness industry for over 30 years and was featured by many multimedia outlets, including Channel 12 News Long Island, ABC Network's 2020, Self Magazine, Hamptons Magazine, Southampton Press, and other publications and speaking engagements. He is a respected fitness professional, author, former fitness center owner, and creator of both EvoFit Method and the Mamawineen Challenge workout. We remember our own. A memorial remembering LGBTQIA+ Black and peoples of color who lost their lives between October 2022 and October 2023. Nassau County Representative Carolyn McCummings, MPH, PhD, Director, Health Equity, Nassau County Department of Health. Carolyn McCummings is a highly accomplished public health professional dedicated to improving community health and well-being. With a MPH and PhD in public health, she brings a strong academic background and extensive practical experience. Dr. McCummings has held leadership positions in government and academia, including as Commissioner of the Nassau County Department of Human Services. She has successfully managed countywide services, addressing aging, mental health, and developmental disabilities. Her strategic approach and management skills have led to positive outcomes. Recognized for her contributions, Dr. McCummings has received awards such as the Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs Outstanding Achievement in Public Health. She actively engages in research, teaching, and mentoring, sharing her expertise with future healthcare professionals. Dr. McCummings is known for her expertise, leadership, and dedication to public health. Her work continues to have a significant impact, improving the lives of communities of color and underserved populations by promoting community well-being. Hofstra University Representative Reginald Alston, Ph.D., Director of Health Equity, Director, Health Equity, Nassau County Department of Health, is the former Associate Dean for Academic Affairs in the College of Applied Health Sciences and a Professor of Rehabilitation, Sciences and Community Health in the Department of Kinesiology and Community Health at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. He also served as Associate Chancellor for Faculty Affairs for nearly 5 years at Illinois. His research focuses primarily on disparities in rehabilitation outcomes for ethnic minorities with disabilities, particularly African Americans. Dr. Alston has published extensively in leading rehabilitation journals and successfully managed research projects as a principal investigator, co-investigator, or coordinator with funding from NSF, NIH, and NIDR. He received the James F. Garrett Award for a distinguished career in rehabilitation research from the American Rehabilitation Counseling Association in 2007. He taught a variety of courses, including disability policy in American society, medical aspects of disability, psychosocial aspects of disability, and research methods in health sciences. In 2005, he received the King James McChrystal Distinguished Scholar Award from the College of Applied Health Sciences at Illinois, and he was the recipient of the Award for Excellence in Graduate and Professional Teaching from the College of Applied Health Sciences in 2006. He is a former editor of the Journal of Applied Rehabilitation Counseling and a former executive board member for the American Rehabilitation Counseling Association, ARCA, and the Council on Rehabilitation Education, CORE. Dr. Alston is a former board member of the Unit #4 School District in Champaign, Illinois, and the Francis Nelson Federally Qualified Health Center in Champaign. For his engagement work with groups in the community, he received the 2009 Campus Award for Excellence in Public Engagement. From 2018 to 2022, Dr. Alston was the interim director of the Shea Veterans Center at the University of Illinois. Mark Travis Rivera. Telling stories is at the core of Mark Travis Rivera's purpose in life. He is an award-winning creative founder, lead storyteller, and consultant of the professional storyteller. As a writer, Mark's bylines included the Bergen Record, Herald News, the Star Ledger, Fox News Latino, and the Huffington Post. He was also a contributing author in the anthology Crisis and Care: Queer Activist Responses to a Global Pandemic, PM Press, 2022, edited by Adrian Shanker. His debut collection, Drafts: An Imperfect Collection of Writing, was published in August 2017. He was also a contributing writer for Imagining a Gibney Journal, where he shared his experience as a disabled choreographer and dancer. As a stubborn and determined 17-year-old, Rivera founded Marked Dance Project, 2009 to 2019, becoming the youngest person in the United States to create and lead an integrated dance company for disabled and non-disabled dancers. Inspired by his desire to dance as a person with cerebral palsy, he went on to help disabled and non-disabled dancers find their voice as a dancer. He was also one of just a handful of artistic directors of color in the disability dance field. As an independent disabled choreographer, Mark is determined to build bridges between the main dance field and disability dance. As a speaker, he has addressed audiences at various institutions of higher learning, including Harvard, MIT, Rutgers, and NYU. As a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant and facilitator, he has spoken to corporate audiences virtually in the UK, Canada, Mexico, Latin America, Israel, China, and India. His TEDx talk, Embracing Yourself, Embracing Your Potential, was a smash hit in 2014 at Bergen Community College. A graduate of William Patterson University, he earned a bachelor's degree in Women's and Gender Studies and a minor in Public Relations. In 2013, Mark received the Student Government Association's Lifetime Achievement Award for his commitment to the William Patterson community. That same year, he was honored with the Campus Pride Voice and AMP Action Award for his work with the LGBTQ community, and with the Creativeness Award by DBGM Inc. More recently, he won the Audre Lorde Award for Social Justice from John Jay College of Criminal Justice at the City University of New York, and the Lavender Legacy Award from William Patterson. Mark is represented as a speaker by Hummingbird Speaks and is a member of the WE Create Space Global Collective of LGBTQ+ leaders. He was raised a Jersey boy, lived in New York City and the Bay Area, but now calls Atlanta, Georgia, home. India Harville, founder of Embraced Body. India Harville, she/her, founder of Embraced Body, is an African-American, disabled, queer disability justice activist, politicized healer, and artist. Her work centers reclaiming the body as an often underestimated pathway to decolonizing ourselves to foster social justice, equity, and inclusion. Her offerings center disability justice as a framework and embodied praxis for the liberation of those most impacted by oppression, which liberates everyone. India holds a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from New College of Florida and a Master's in Arts in Integrative Health Studies from the California Institute of Integral Studies. To learn more about her work, please visit www.embracedbody.com. Jill Rothstein worked with the New York Public Library for 20 years as the chief librarian of the Andrew High School Braille and Talking Book Library in NYC for 10 years, was a member of the NYPL Accessibility Working Group, received the Lead Emerging Leader Award, and a core team member and mentor with the Innovation Project. She presented at the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled Conference, Metro Libraries Conference, American Library Association, and Harvard's World Heritage Strategy Forum. Before that, she sang and did silly dances for toddlers as a children's librarian, and when she was a neighborhood branch manager, did not sing as much. Chancey Fleet is a Brooklyn-based tech educator and activist who identifies as blind. Chancey is the Assistive Technology Coordinator at the New York Public Library, NYPL. In that role, she curates accessible technology in the branch, collaborates across the NYPL system to improve equity and access, and coordinates a diverse team of staff and volunteers who provide one-to-one tech coaching and group workshops, free of charge and open to all. Through a 2017 NYPL Innovation Grant, she founded and maintained the Dimensions Project, a free open lab for the exploration and creation of accessible images, models, and data representations through tactile graphics, 3D models, and non-visual approaches to coding, CAD, and visual arts. Chansey is a 2018-19 Data and Society Fellow and is the affiliate in residence whose writing, organizing, and advocacy aims to catalyze critical inquiry into how cloud-connected accessibility tools benefit and harm, empower, and expose disability communities. She was recognized in 2017 as a library journal mover and shaker. She serves as president of the NFB's Assistive Technology Trainers Division, a board member of the Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and a member of New York State's Regents Advisory Council on Libraries. Ruth Lowenkron is the director of the Disability Justice Program at New York Lawyers for the Public Interest. She has been active in the field of disability law since 1981, having previously worked at Untapped Resources, Inc., New York, the Community Health Law Project, New Jersey, the Education Law Center, New Jersey, and Disability Rights New Jersey. Through her work in impact litigation, legislative advocacy, and community outreach, Ruth assisted many people with physical, mental, and other disabilities. She taught disability law at Seton Hall Law School in New Jersey and at the City University of New York, CUNY Law School in New York City, and is a special education hearing officer for the New York State Department of Education. Ruth received her bachelor's degree from Cornell University and her Juris Doctorate in CUNY Law School's inaugural class. Honors she received include Volunteer Lawyers for Justice's Champion of Change Award, the Essex County Bar Association's Special Merit Award, the Hofstra University School of Law Public Justice Foundation Commitment to Public Service Award, the New Jersey Association for Advancement of the Mentally Handicapped Award, the ARC of New York State's Robert Hodgson, August Jacobs Law Award, the New York Association for Psychiatric Rehabilitation Services Public Policy Leadership Award, and was being listed as a Crain's New York Business Notable Women in Law. Disability and criminal justice statistics. A quarter of people in jail and 14% of people in prison have a serious mental illness, compared to about 6% of all adults. Based on the 2021 incarcerated population, that means that over 330 people with serious mental illness are behind bars today. Once incarcerated, people with serious mental illness are also 1.7 times more likely to spend extended time in solitary confinement and 7.4 times more likely to die by suicide. We see these same patterns when you look at those who become involved or entangled with police. While people with serious mental illness make up only about 6% of the population, they are involved in as many as 10% of all police calls, make up 17% of all uses of force, and 20% of people injured in police interaction. Even more disturbing, since 2015, about 25% of all people killed by police have been people experiencing mental health issues. Source: U.S. DOJ. Addressing the Criminalization of People with Disabilities Forum on July 25, 2023. Presented by Kristen Clark, Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division at the U.S. Department of Justice, celebrating the 33rd anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Advertisement: our core values. Support: our responsibility as human beings is to support ourselves and one another. Equity: to participate in community is to have active citizenship. To be a participating citizen, one must have opportunities which are equitable, which accommodate the differences all human beings have. Acceptance: one of the most vital components of having a quality of life is love. It's okay to tell someone you love them. More importantly, it's okay to show them. To accept another for who they are and what makes them human can be a most validating experience. It is self-empowering. Services offered: day supports, residential supports, housing rental subsidy, career supports, community habilitation, respite family education, and AMP, training self-direction advertisement. What is 988? 988 is the new 3-digit number that connects people to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. This service is for anyone who is suicidal, experiencing a mental health or substance use, experiencing any kind of emotional distress. 988 is more than just a number. It is a direct connection to compassionate and accessible care. When you call, text, or chat 988, You are connected to trained counselors that are part of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network. Moving to 988 does not mean the 1-800-273-8255 number goes away. Using either number will get people to the same services. Who can contact 988? 988 is for everyone, and it's more than a suicide line. Contact 988 if you are suicidal, experiencing a mental health or substance use-related crisis, experiencing any kind of emotional distress, worried about someone in distress. 988 is for people of all ages, genders, sexes, ethnicities, races, religions, sexual orientations, and socioeconomic statuses. If you are a veteran or Spanish speaker, 988 has dedicated lines for you. Why do we need 988? Mental health is just as important as physical health. Now there is a 3-digit number for mental health emergencies that's easy to remember. 988 helps New York. Connect with people who are struggling with behavioral health, mental health and/or substance-related crisis use, concerns as soon as possible, 24/7. Reduce unnecessary use of law enforcement and other safety resources in crisis responses. Meet the growing need for crisis intervention where it's needed most. Shift the mindset about people who struggle with their mental health. Reduce healthcare spending with more cost, effective early intervention. What happens when I contact 988? When contacting 988, you will first be routed to a local Lifeline crisis center based on your area code. A trained crisis counselor will answer and listen to how your problem is affecting you. They then provide support and share resources if needed. If a local crisis center is unable to take the call, you will be automatically routed to a national backup crisis center. All contact with 988 is voluntary. What is the difference between 988 and 911? 988 provides easy access to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network and related crisis resources. This is different from 911, where the focus is on dispatching emergency medical services, fire, and police as needed. The goal of 988 is to meet the growing suicide and mental health-related crisis care needs. Will services be offered in other languages? The Lifeline currently provides live crisis center phone services in English and Spanish and uses language line solutions to provide translation services in over 150 additional languages. Does it cost money to use 988? Contacting 988 is a free service. Conference Planning Team: Lisette Marrero, MS Dabo, LM Consulting Voces Latina, Antoine Craigwell, DBGM Inc., Eleanor Coley Brody, LCSW, Helen Keller National Center, Andrea Nerlich, Ph.D., Hofstra University, Jamie Metis, Ph.D., Hofstra University, Brandon Gilmore, Hofstra University, Talia Santiago, NYS OMH, ODI, Vaughn Constable, Twist by V. Abstract Reviewers: Ajoa Osei, Psi-D, Don Gagnon, Ph.D., Western Connecticut University, Johanna Malaret, Psi-D, Zanata Gordon, PFY, Continuing Education Units Credits, David Guggenheim, Psi-D, Colin Lord Community Health Center. Counseling Rehabilitation Credits, Rehabilitation Counseling Program, Hofstra University, Andrea Nerlich, Ph.D., Jamie Midas, Ph.D. Community Partners, Amidacare, Apicom, Disability Unite, Helen Keller. National Center, LM Consulting, Mental Health Association of NY, National LGBT Cancer Network, New York Lawyers for the Public Interest, NYLPI, Northwell Health, Person-Centered Care Services, The Gatekeepers Collective, Twist by V, Spectrum Designs, Workability Media Partners, Our Black Gay Diaspora Podcast, Wyatt Evans Podcast. Sponsors: Colin Lord, DBGM, Inc., Hofstra University, Rehabilitation Counseling Program, Housing Works, Inc., NYC Health Plus Hospitals, NYS AIDS Institute, NYS OMH, ODI, RA, Shinnecock Indian Nation, Vibrant Emotional Health Advertisement. Benefits of Connect: provides clinic services in the field, from home or non-clinic community location, therapy, in-home or telehealth, case management, in-home or telehealth, wellness workshops, support groups, medication management, primary care, sexual health. Do I need insurance to receive Connect services? No. Connect serves all eligible individuals regardless of immigration and insurance status. How to know if Connect is right for you. If you answer yes to any of the below, then you may be eligible for Connect services. Person 18 or older. Resident of East New York or Harlem, diagnosis or experience of emotional health concerns and/or distress, recently released from jail or prison, stepping down from mobile treatment services, ACT, FACT, SPACT, IMT, awaiting services or as a diversion for other SPOA services, ACT, FACT, SPACT, IMT, Care Coordination, East New York Housing Works, ENY Community Health Center, 2640 Pitkin Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11208, 718-277-0386. Natalia Lewis, Program Manager, Community Strategy. n.lewis@housingworks.org, 718-219-9464.